A guy reincarnates into another world, awakening a powerful ability called water manipulation. A skill that doesn't just make water his domain, but also lets him tame fierce aquatic beasts, turning them into his loyal pets. But he doesn't stop there. As he evolves them, pushing them past their natural limits until they become terrifying sea monsters. Now let's dive in. The story takes place in a distant land, where Liang Ku stood dazed, taking in the breathtaking view of the rising sun. The golden light painted the sky, and the fresh, cold breeze of the morning filled his lungs. It was peaceful, almost surreal. But before he could fully lose himself in the moment, his father's voice called out to him, snapping him back as if it were a sound he hadn't heard in years. Yet, despite that, it felt familiar, warm, comforting. Without a second thought, he rushed to his father, determined to make the most of the day. They spent the morning on the lake, checking on the fish they had caught. It was like any other day, but it was fun. Probably the most fun he had in a long time. Like how a crab managed to latch onto his foot, his father nearly choking on their food from laughing too hard, and even leaving some carved scribbles on the side of their boat just for the hell of it. It was simple, but it was enough to make him forget everything else. He hadn't even realized how quickly time passed until the sun was already setting. But before heading back with their catch, they decided to sit by the shore and enjoy the view a little longer. That was when he noticed a red carp swimming by, its scales glimmering under the fading sunlight. It was a rare sight, and so without hesitation, Liang Ku dived into the water. But the moment he hit the surface, fish was gone and everything around him. The lake was empty with no signs of life, and no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't move forward, like something was holding him in place. And suddenly his chest tightened, his limbs grew heavier, and the only thing on his mind was hoping his father would pull him out. But the world around him dimmed, and just like that he woke up. Except his father wasn't there. Instead, two strangers stood in front of him, and that's when reality hit. The day with his father was all just a dream. In truth, he was tied up, captured by these bastards. Zhang had tricked him, making him believe he was guiding them. But in reality, they just wanted to use him as bait for the water monster. A cruel fate, but Liang Ku remained calm. Because this wasn't his first life, Liang Ku was a transmigrator from another world. It had already been a month since he arrived in this world, taking over this body. The original owner had died from an illness, and somehow he ended up here in his place. His mother died in childbirth, leaving him to be raised by his father alone. And for years, it was just the two of them, until 3 months ago, when his father succumbed to a respiratory disease. But now, all those emotions, the grief, the loneliness and the longing, had become his own, and that was something new for him, as he had never known what it felt like to grow up with a family. Still, in the past month he had adapted to the former owner's relationships and